Please, what is your understanding about discipleship?
Discipleship. That's the Great Commission, right?
Mm-mm.
Discipling, it's like, you know, discipleship is about, basically we talk about discipleship, it's a lifestyle, learning the lifestyle of a Christian. So becoming like Christ. And then at the end of the day, it's really becoming like, discipleship is designed to bring someone to become more and more like the Lord Jesus
Mm-mm.
Christ. Okay, so one has to become a disciple and a discipler. So actually, I mean, together in a sense. Because so it's not just enough that you are being discipled. You have to come to the level that you are also discipling.
Mm-mm.
And so in other words, taking one person to become more and more like the Lord Jesus Christ, as you also are being discipled. So that's the Great Commission, discipling the nations. Right?
Yes po. Ano po yung yung mga methods po ninyo o model ninyo sa discipleship at paano po?
Sa amin kasi dito, we design a curriculum. So kasi there are two approaches, or let me say, two facets of discipleship. So one is the discipleship process. When we talk about the discipleship process, it's about material just like this one. So this is one of our discipleship curriculum. So we have TMIF 101. This is actually mission in focus. But this is like in the long range of discipleship curriculum that we have. This is like the second to the last one. So when I say discipleship process, we take someone, teach him or teach that person using materials that we have designed, so the curriculum. So starting like we have EP1.
For free po yan?
For the churches, it's free. We provide it for free. So because the process that we have is we like someone that just got born again. We encourage him to go through the discipleship process. So this is the curriculum. So we call it Life Development Institute discipleship curriculum. So they go through that. So there are two stages of that, and then that's the material aspect. Of course, on top of this are the other trainings that we provided. So we have also the continuous learning. So when we talk about discipleship process, we are taking one person through the materials that we have designed, and it's designed in such a way that if a person is really serious in the study, he would have a better understanding of his relationship with the Lord, how he can become part of the building of God's kingdom. So that's the discipleship process. The other one, alongside with the discipleship process, is what we call the discipleship essence. The essence now is that is without any material. So like if I'm discipling someone, like say I'm discipling you, these are the things that takes place in the natural environment. So like for instance, you do something that we thought is not un-Christian. So like you say something that is mean towards someone. Now I would be discipling you as a disciple. I would tell you, Kristyl, I think what you said. I think it was always sandwich. Just the affirmation. But then I would correct the thing. I would say, you said a while ago to a sister or to a brother. I thought the word was what you said is not right, because that's being un-Christian. You should be encouraging others. You should not be demeaning someone, something like that. So the act of correcting you was in the actual situation. It was based on the situation. There was no material about it. So I just simply correct you. So that's the essence. Or sometimes I would take the person and say, like, let's pray. So I was demonstrating to them already. So that's so there's the process and the essence. So that's the approach of our discipleship here. And then of course, just I mentioned a while ago, there is a continuous learning. So that's why we have leadership curriculum as well, teaching people how to provide leadership and how to provide pastoral care, something like that. So we have a wide range of trainings and people. So all these things is to disciple the person.
It's open for all po ba? For example, pwede ba ako mag-engage ko yung sarili ko based sa sa inyo po,
Yeah.
kung gusto ko ng learnings about discipleship.
The materials, it is basically designed for the members of the church. If the people are not, if they are part of another church, because we observe protocol, we cannot just welcome anybody like a member from other church would say, hey, this disciple. We don't necessarily encourage that because we always believe that
Discipleship is making someone to walk and to practice what you have teach and what you have tell someone to is you are using materials that will teach the person whom you want to learn. It might be the Bible or some paraphernalia that that has truth pertaining to the Bible.
My definition of discipleship is gathering or finding those people who don't know God and teach them who God is. It is written in the Bible that go into the world and make disciples. It is one of the Great Commission. And in our churches, we're doing Sunday school for every society. So that's the discipleship methods. Of course, we are teaching them through Sunday school every morning before we're going to make our worship, and then sharing them the Word of God, your experience or encounter with God, and then make some fellowship with the young ones or like that. That's all.
Okay, discipleship is one of the role of a Christian, of course, and it's all about gathering people and helping them to equip their spiritual life and, of course, helping them to build their being as Christians. Okay, when it comes to discipleship methods and models, we are talking about the materials that we will be using, and of course, in a general statement, we are looking for their spiritual life condition. That's why we need counseling too, and knowing how they are doing with their spiritual life.
Studying about discipleship.
Ang discipleship ay yung pagkakaroon mo ng mga sheep na aalagaan mo, i-mentor mo, at
What are the methods of God? What are your methods or model of discipleship?
model. Si Jesus Christ, naging model sa discipleship na hindi niya yung pinabayaan ng kanyang mga disipulo. Siyempre, yung mga disipulo niya, nagsisimula ang discipleship sa personal evangelism. So, pag nag-i-evangelize ka, hindi mo lang siya hanggang doon lang sa pag-evangelize na pinatanggap mo si Jesus Christ, but then, kailangan mo siyang pangalagaan. Yun yung discipleship, merong pag-follow up, tsaka the same time, tuturuan mo siya kung paano mo rin siya, ay paano mo siya dinisciple para magkakaroon din siya ng disciple. Kaya merong tinatawag na discipleship kasi hindi lang sa isang tao from one another.
Thank
It
you.
is the act of training someone to follow your footsteps as their leader or discipler. Yan na.
So, what is your discipleship method or model? And paano mo gawin yung method na yun
Ayun sa
sa
akin.
discipleship?
Hindi, nag-cite kasi ako dito ng kuan. Marami. Sabihin ko lang sinulat yun. There are many models, methods suited for discipleship. It depends on the discipler. So, depende. For example, if you are a teacher, you can use your styles in teaching. Baala ka na kung anong klase styles yun. It may also be a one-on-one discipleship just like if you are a counselor. So you can counsel him or her, at the same time you can train him or her to be your disciple. And tapos kung when you are a sports-oriented person, you can use that sports to train someone to be your disciple.
Definition and understanding about discipleship.
Discipleship for me is a life-to-life transference. Okay, so, di ba we are commanded to go and make disciples. And, but by, syempre we preach the gospel to them, we baptize them, and then we teach them to obey. The teaching them to obey is important kasi we don't just teach them facts in the Bible for them to memorize or dagdag sa sa knowledge nila about biblical stuffs, but teaching them to obey, showing them how to do it, guiding them how to obey and glorify the Lord sa mga natututunan nila in the Bible. So it's a life-to-life transference, and sometimes struggle din siya and challenge at the same time kasi you get to be transparent with your disciples. Nakikita nila yung imperfections mo, then diba? Kasi kung disciple ka, it doesn't mean that you're perfect na or you know everything, you can do everything. Pero nakikita nila doon na you also struggle with these things. But at the same time, they find comfort as well kasi alam nila na you're journeying with them, you understand them kasi you're going through what they're going through then. Tapos, as sa discipleship, you don't just teach them, but nakikita rin ng disciples mo that you are also a disciple of Christ. You're far from perfection, but you're also striving to glorify God sa life mo personally, and then you're sharing, imparting your experiences.
Ano yung mga discipleship method or models na implement ninyo sa church or mismo sa iyo at saka
Personally,
paano?
what I usually do is I establish relationship ko talaga. Okay, since I'm connected with a Christian school, and although it's a Christian school, most of them are not yet Christians. So, kasi para sa akin, hindi mo maituturo yung mga principles mo sa life if you don't establish a relationship with them. Parang you don't have the right to share. Parang hindi sila makikinig sa'yo kasi hindi ka nila kilala di ba? Hindi nila alam na ang nangyayari sa'yo, hindi nila alam that you care for them. So, before I do discipleship, I establish talaga yung strong relationship with them. I talk to them, I spend time with them. Hindi lang, for example, kahit yung mga youth namin dito sa church, we don't just go out every Sunday. We also, as much as possible, kapag may mga spare time sila from sa school, bonding talaga yan. And then, aside from that, yung mga pinag-uusapan namin, okay, when we get to talk about their experiences sa school, as much as possible, I get to insert my learnings from the Bible regarding that. Hindi lang siya yung parang, di ba, yung bonding na pure talk lang, fun na anything under the sun. Pwede naman yun, but I see to it as much as possible.